Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news out of Los Angeles, California. RICO charges. Look at this man right here, folks. Come on in, come on in. Oh, this man is wanted right now by the federal government. RICO charges. He's a very prominent figure in the Los Angeles area. Eugene Henley, aka Big U. We're going to talk about Big U right here. He's involved with a gigantic RICO case out of Los Angeles that just dropped earlier today. Whoa, this is big, folks. We're talking about crimes and lots of crimes. RICO, racketeering, extortion, murder, human trafficking, fraud. He's involved with some sort of murder of a rival musician back in 2021. Whoa, folks. 58-year-old Eugene Henley Jr., a.k.a. Big U. He's caught up in the RICO. So we're going to keep his photo out here, folks. And we're going to talk about this case. Come on in, because this is a big, big deal out of Los Angeles, California. See a lot of people in the chat coming in. Let's keep the conversation going. This is the second major bust out of the Los Angeles level on the feds level, in the last few weeks. A couple weeks ago, we talked about a major human smuggling operation busted. Like 20,000 Guatemalan migrants are involved in a human smuggling operation occupied by a few defendants. Well, in this same federal district, which is the United States District Court for the Central District of California, they just dropped an indictment against this guy and 18 others, known as the Rolling 60s Neighborhood Crips Street Gang. The Rollin 60s Neighborhood Crips Street Gang. It's a very violent gang that has been terrorizing the Los Angeles area for decades. But this guy here is probably the modern day Nino Brown. And I say that because he seems to have a lot of occupations going on with this guy. And he puts himself out there as an activist, prominent figure who wants to give back to the community, all while the federal government says it was a scheme, it was a fraud to launder money. He wants to put himself out there as a good guy, a charitable guy that likes to go into neighborhoods and help people and give back to the community, toy drives, Christmas turkeys or Thanksgiving turkeys, in those Los Angeles neighborhoods. But guess what, folks? It appears it was all a front. It was all a front. It was a lie. One, to get money, donations, but use that to money launder into schemes of fraud, racketeering, human trafficking, extortion, and also murder. Come on in. We're going to keep his photo out there because he's wanted. A dangerous criminal is wanted by the feds. But guess what, folks? Oh, he got ties to a lot of people. They say he got ties to that rapper that died, Nipsey Hussle. Got ties to Suge Knight. And also his son is a linebacker for the Los Angeles Chargers. His own son is an NFL linebacker. Feds dropped a major bomb today. You don't want to play with the feds. You don't want to play with the feds, folks. Come on in. You don't want to play with the feds at all. Oh, he's going to federal prison. He's going to get caught. He's going to get caught, and he should turn himself in. However, the charges that he has, I think, is really bad. It might be even worse than P. Diddy's. And you know how bad P. Diddy's charges are? RICO. Suave. He's charged with the RICO. He's charged with the RICO. So what we're going to do is use our platform to make a difference and put his image out there. At least people might be piling in. Some of you might care. Some of you might not. But look at this guy. Look at the people in the background. Magnolia made this beautiful thumbnail. I think it's immaculate. She made a dope thumbnail. Look at that. Fugitive. Wanted. So we can keep his face out there while he's wanted. Now, I don't know what type of manhunt they'll do on him. We're going to share some stories on him and keep his face out there. There is a news report. There is a press conference. The feds had a press conference on this guy. We're going to play the press conference. We're going to play a news report. We're going to talk about his old charitable things. We're going to talk about his ties to the music industry. And we're just going to keep public awareness about this guy. And hopefully somebody out there might see him, or our 354,000 subs, someone might recognize this guy and turn him in. Or maybe he should turn himself in. The Rollin 60s. What is the Rollin 60s Crips anyway? The Rollin 60s Crips. What is that? I got to do a little research on the Rollin 60s. Anybody know about the Rollin 60s? Bloods, Crips, gang stuff. We're going to talk about gang stuff. But we like to shame and out the criminals here and put their faces out there. This guy, if he gets caught, he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison unless he snitches everybody out. Oh, there's an actual Wikipedia page on the Rollin Crips. There's a Wikipedia page on the Rollin Crips. It's a street gang based in Los Angeles. It formed in Hyde Park in 1976. Oh, the year I was born. 1976. From the West Side Crips. And that's spread to other cities throughout the United States. The membership consists of 1,600 members, making it one of the largest gangs in the Los Angeles area. A lot of their members wear Seattle Mariners and Chicago White Sox logos. And their turf is marked with graffiti. Graffiti turf. Come on in. Come on in. So what we're going to do, we'll play I'll play a news clip right now to kind of show you what's going on, and then we'll bring this guy back, keep his mugshot out there, keep the conversation going. So I'm going to share this news clip with you right here. Check it out.
Right now at 11, a big announcement from federal authorities about the Rollin 60s neighborhood Crips gang in South LA. Detectives have arrested multiple people, and this morning they're still looking for others. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Annabelle Sedano. Let's get right to it. We have live team coverage of this breaking news. NBC4's Michelle Vyas is in Westwood with more on the arrest. But let's get started with Alex Rozier. He was at that press conference and joins us live from downtown LA. Alex.
Yeah, they talked a lot about a number of people in this press conference, but the main focus was on a man named Eugene Henley. The feds say he committed a series of racketeering crimes, including extortion, human trafficking, fraud, and the murder of a rapper in 2021. But this same man, Eugene Henley, is known throughout the Los Angeles community. He's been involved with work, including youth charities, and the feds say he did it all to further his own criminal enterprise.
He has maintained the image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur running a music label and of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles, funding a South LA-based charity, developing options, which purports to help at youth risk escape gang life and escape the perils of gangs in high crime areas. The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar.
Eugene Henley, now considered a wanted fugitive. In the past, he's produced TV series. He has nearly 300,000 followers on Instagram, and he ran this charity. The feds say the charity received donations from celebrities, even government agencies, for what was described as charitable work. But the feds say he was still very involved in a much larger crime ring, and it wasn't just Henley that they're looking for. They've already made several arrests in connection with his alleged crimes. 4 people named in the criminal complaint are already in custody. The details of the alleged crimes were just released in dozens of pages of court documents that we are about to go through here. But the big headline right now is that Eugene Henley, a longtime self-proclaimed community activist, is now a fugitive. The FBI, among other agencies, looking for him and several other people involved in a much wider-ranging crime ring. We'll have details much later today on the NBC4 News beginning at 3 o'clock. But for now, reporting live, I'm Alex Rozier, NBC4 News.
Alex, thank you very much for that update. We're looking forward to it. All right, so let's go to NBC4's Michelle Vyas. She's live at the federal building in Westwood, where the defendants will be processed. Michelle.
That's right. Annabelle, good morning. Right behind me, we have FBI agents and members of the Department of Justice here. This is where some of the members, the gang members from the Crips, were brought to be processed. We just saw likely one of them being driven away, who will likely be in court this afternoon. This is a big day. This is where they're processed. Many of them still need to be processed to face those federal charges. A big day, but big agents need the big get, a.k.a. Big U, Eugene Henley, now a fugitive. They think he's somewhere in Southern California, a self-proclaimed philanthropist and ringleader of the Rolling 60s Crip gang. Here's more on the arrest from special agent in charge.
4 of the 19 defendants were already in custody, and 10 defendants were taken into custody in the last 24 hours. And while we're still seeking the whereabouts of 5 individuals, 3 of whom we believe we will have in custody shortly, 2 defendants are considered fugitives. They are Eugene Henley Jr., also known as Big U, and Brian Mejia.
Big U, the Crip leader turned gang interventionist who ran mafia-like enterprises, according to the feds. Developing Options was his nonprofit charity that was touted as helping gang members get out of the gang life. As we look live here, again, this is the federal building. You see the tents, you see the agents. This is where some of those defendants, innocent until proven guilty, were brought here for processing. Some still need to be processed and make their way to court. Big U looking at extensive federal charges, including the murder of an aspiring rap musician, extortion, robbery, tax fraud, and human trafficking. Anyone who knows the whereabouts of Brian Mejia or Big U, Eugene Henley Jr., is asked to call the FBI. In Westwood, Michelle Vyas, NBC4 News.
Michelle, thank you very much for that.
Big U. Gonna make myself back in the screen. Gang leader wanted. Crips gang busted. You don't want to play with the feds. Acting United States Attorney Joseph McNally. It seems like they mean serious business. Huh. There he is. Big U. A longtime leader of the South Los Angeles-based Rolling 6 Neighborhoods Crips street gang, who also is an entertainment entrepreneur and a self-proclaimed community activist, has been charged in a federal complaint alleging he ran a criminal enterprise and committed a series of racketeering crimes, including extortion, human trafficking, fraud. He also stole COVID money. What a creep. He stole COVID money. He's from the Hyde Park neighborhood of South Los Angeles. And there was other 2 gang members that were also arrested. An individual named Sylvester Robinson, 59, a.k.a. They, V-E-Y, of Northridge, and Mark Martin, 50. not the Mark Martin NASCAR driver. Mark Martin, 50, a.k.a. Bear Claw, of the Beverly Wood area of Los Angeles, were arrested today, too. Someone's snitching on them. Someone is snitching. Do we got any gang members? Do we got any gang members in the chat? I thought I'd keep this a little interesting. We're just going to kind of just have a little fun with this and talk about this and keep the conversation going. Keep his name out there. So if anyone sees this face, got a pretty recognizable face. He's probably being hidden out. You can't run from the feds. You can't run from the feds. No, this is a big deal on the West Coast. It's equivalent to like P. Diddy being arrested in New York. This is a big deal out of Los Angeles. Real talk. Real talk. It's a big deal. This is like the head honcho, head of the totem pole of this. He's a gang leader. 60s Rollins Crips. Now, I know nothing about these Rollin Crips, but they've been around since 1976. They got rivals, too. They got rivals. They said their rivals are the Bloods, the Hoover factions, the 8-Tray Gangster Crip, 83 GC. In 2004, this was the largest black criminal street gang in the city of Los Angeles. In 2004, I don't know if there's more members, more than, I don't know what other cities they're in. You know anything? Anyone know about this group? How can we help turn them in? What can we do? Yeah, we're turning them in out there. So please get triggered if you support this guy, because we're bringing awareness. We're putting his face out there. We shame the criminals. We shame the criminals. So we'll talk more about him, but we want to listen to the prosecutor. We'll listen to the prosecutor. We'll listen to this indictment or complaint. I'm sure there'll be superseding indictments. We'll listen to the details of what the prosecutor. I like federal prosecutors when they start sharing about things that are going on and give details. Usually federal prosecutors don't speak, by the way. They don't like to speak. They don't usually give press conferences, but this is the second press conference this acting United States attorney did in the last few weeks. And then we'll show some other things on this guy, and we'll keep the conversation going. So let's go with the press conference. Let's listen in.
Good morning. I'm Joe McNally, the acting United States attorney here in Los Angeles. Today, we're here to announce federal criminal charges against Eugene Henley Jr., a career criminal known as Big U, who used his contacts and leadership role in the Crips criminal street gang, the entertainment industry, and a youth charity to further his own criminal enterprise, an enterprise that engaged in murder, extortion, robbery, human trafficking, COVID fraud, and other felonies. Mr. Henley and several other individuals linked to him and his criminal enterprise were charged in a criminal complaint with federal racketeering conspiracy. Mr. Henley is a fugitive, and he is currently wanted by federal law enforcement. Other individuals linked to his criminal enterprise were arrested today, approximately 10 defendants who are charged in various indictments. Again, Mr. Henley is a fugitive. 4 defendants are in state custody and will be transferred into federal custody, and we are still seeking Mr. Henley and another fugitive. The Department of Justice's top priority is eliminating violent crime caused by criminal street gangs and organized crime. These organizations cause a tremendous amount of harm in our communities, and today's arrests are part of our office's efforts, FBI, IRS, LAPD, the team you see up here, to make our community safer and rid our streets of these criminal street gangs, including ones operated by violent felons like Mr. Henley, who are posing as savvy businessmen and community leaders, but in the end are violent criminals. The affidavit filed with the criminal complaint alleges that Mr. Henley operated Big U Enterprises, a mafia-like organization that utilized Mr. Henley's stature and long-standing association with the Crips criminal street gang and other gangs here in Los Angeles to intimidate businesses and individuals in our communities. I want to stress that the allegations here in the complaint are allegations only, and the defendants are presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Let me talk a little bit about Mr. Henley and the street gang here. As I said, Mr. Henley is a widely known leader within the Rollin 60s. He rose to prominence in that gang decades ago, and he has since been a fixture on the internet, talk shows, and podcasts, all things that law enforcement have looked at closely as part of this investigation. He has maintained the image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur running a music label and of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles, funding a South LA-based charity, developing options, which purports to help at youth risk escape gang life and escape the perils of gangs in high crime areas. The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar, and a cheat, and the criminals that enabled him. For example, Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway. He then attempted to evade and obstruct the investigation into the murder, including ordering witnesses not to speak with law enforcement. Henley's criminal enterprise also engaged in other crimes, including transporting prostitutes across state lines, extorting strip clubs, marijuana dispensaries, and other businesses, and fraudulently applying for COVID loans in the form of a business relief loan. On that application, Mr. Henley falsely stated that his music label, Unique Music, operated at a $200,000 profit in 2019 and was entitled to government assistance, despite the reality that the company had operated at a loss and was ineligible for such relief. Finally, Mr. Henley is accused of embezzling donations made by celebrities, professional athletes, and businesses to his charity, Developing Options, which, as I said, purports to give South LA at-risk youth alternatives to gang violence, drugs, and other criminal activity. Henley used this charity as a front. He used it to conceal his fraudulent activities, his criminal enterprises activities, and evade detection from law enforcement. If convicted on the racketeering conspiracy, he and his co-conspirators face approximately a 20-year federal prison sentence. I want to thank our federal law enforcement partners, our state law enforcement partners who brought about the result here today. The Los Angeles Metropolitan Gang Task Force from the FBI is comprised of FBI agents, LAPD officers, IRS Criminal Investigation, the U.S. Department of Justice Inspector General's Office, Los Angeles Police Department, the North Las Vegas Police Department. This case is a great example of state and federal law enforcement working together to address harm from a criminal enterprise. I also want to thank our prosecutors, Assistant U.S. Attorneys Kevin Butler and Jenna McCabe, for their diligence and dogged determination in this case. With that, I'll turn it over to our next speaker, FBI Special Agent in Charge, Ted Dox.
Thank you, Joe. Absolutely. My name is Ted Dox, Special Agent in Charge of FBI Los Angeles' Criminal Division. These operations are truly a team effort, and I would like to recognize those partnerships. If not for their commitment, dedication, and follow-through, we would not be here today. First, I'd like to thank LAPD, IRS Criminal Investigations, and the U.S. Attorney's Office for working collaboratively for the past 4 years, in this case with FBI Los Angeles Metropolitan Task Force on violent gangs. I'd also like to thank the U.S. Marshal Service for their assistance today, and many departments in California, Arizona, Nevada, and the North Las Vegas Police Department. Now, this morning, hundreds of agents and officers, including multiple SWAT teams, executed multiple arrest warrants for many of the 19 defendants charged in this case. Search warrants were executed at 6 locations. Those searches continue to be underway. 4 of the 19 defendants were already in custody, and 10 defendants were taken into custody in the last 24 hours. And while we're still seeking the whereabouts of 5 individuals, 3 of whom we believe we will have in custody shortly, 2 defendants are considered fugitives. They are Eugene Henley Jr., also known as Big U, and Brian Mejia. We will provide their photographs to the media following this announcement. Anyone with information as to their whereabouts should not take action on their own, but contact the FBI. You can reach us by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI. During this investigation, we recovered 49 weapons, 5 pounds of methamphetamines, 10,000 fentanyl pills, and large amounts of cash. The Rolling 16 Crips have been around for decades, and by some estimates are among the largest gangs in the country, with factions in multiple states. Mr. Henley has been a known member of the Rolling 60s Crips since the 1980s, where he established his reputation and earned standing with fellow gang members. He has been able to use that standing to intimidate businesses and individuals and to commit various forms of violence, including the alleged murder outlined by the U.S. Attorney. He's also been able to influence others to give him money, only to defraud his victims, including defrauding the U.S., the government, the city of Los Angeles, and you, the taxpayer. Before I close, I'd like to ask that anyone who has information about the alleged criminal activity or feel that they have been victimized by any of the defendants, call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. We've targeted this gang in the past and will continue to target gangs who seed violence and fear in our communities. The FBI will never waver on our commitment to combat violent gangs and those individuals affiliated who prey on others. Today's arrests make neighborhoods across our city safer. Thank you. And with that, I'll turn it over to IRS SAC Tyler Hatcher.
Good morning. Again, I'm Tyler Hatcher. I'm the Special Agent in charge of IRS Criminal Investigation here in Los Angeles. Today's arrests are the result of outstanding investigative work by law enforcement partners from LAPD, U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI, and my office, who've worked tirelessly to find the evidence necessary to charge those who are alleged to bring harm to our communities, as you've heard previously. The RICO charges against Mr. Henley and his associates reflect a pattern of crimes that runs the gambit from extortion to robbery to murder to tax fraud and to human trafficking, all under the umbrella of a well-organized criminal organization led by Mr. Henley. Additionally, Mr. Henley duped the County of Los Angeles by running a nonprofit named Developing Options, which was set up to pull youth out of the gang life and promote anti-gang solutions. Yet Mr. Henley continued to personally orchestrate violent gang activity that impact our communities. Donors trust that their donations will be used in a manner that's consistent with what the charity was set up to do and applied as intended. In this case, it was for the benefit of at-risk youth. Financial transactions leave a trail, and IRS Criminal Investigation Special Agents are the best at following that trail. The trails led to Mr. Henley's, allegedly lead to Mr. Henley's personal bank account, and the money trail doesn't lie. Organized crime victimizes our Los Angeles communities far too frequently, but the arrests made today demonstrate our commitment to making Los Angeles safer for everyone impacted by these criminal enterprises. IRSCI is proud to partner with our federal and state and local law enforcement partners to make our communities safer and to protect from these violent acts. And on that, I'll turn it over to the Chief.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here today. I'll keep my comments brief. From day one, the Los Angeles Police Department's been proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with the FBI and our partners here today in this critical investigation. The invaluable expertise provided by Operations South Bureau FBI Task Force on the Rollin 60s criminal street gang has played a pivotal role in securing these 19 federal indictments laid out this morning. It's a measured step forward in our ongoing fight against gang violence and brings hope and relief to a community that for too long has endured far too much. Together we will continue to protect and serve, working tirelessly to ensure safety in all of our neighborhoods. I'll return the U.S. Attorney, Joe McNally, for any questions follow-up.
We'll take any questions.
So Henley is still on the loose?
He is.
Do you expect to snag him today, or is this something where he's gone?
Yeah, I think all I can say is that look, he is the leader here, and we're looking for him and trying to find him. He's a fugitive at this point, and we're using resources to try to track them down.
When were the other arrests made?
The arrests were made this morning, early this morning.
And that's of the more than this whole group here that's in custody? Or?
So there were a number of arrests, I think roughly 10 this morning, and then there are other individuals who were in state custody that are being transferred into federal custody. But approximately 10 arrests were made this morning.
I think you mentioned it earlier, but what kind of penalties or time in prison are these people?
So a federal racketeering conspiracy complaint that's charged here 1962D covers up to 20 years in federal prison. The next stage here would be that Mr. Henley and others would be indicted by a grand jury, and the penalties at that point could range and include higher penalties. So at this point he's charged in a criminal complaint.
Is he charged with murder too as well?
He's charged in a RICO conspiracy, and part of that RICO conspiracy, one of the predicate acts is the murder that is described in the complaint. He has not yet charged in an indictment with substantive murder.
You mentioned the taxpayers were defrauded. Can you tell us how much taxpayer dollars he obtained from what city leader or official? And what does this mean for groups that are working on anti-gang efforts and trying to get donations from celebrities or celebrities?
Sure. So I think just to kind of go back, Mr. Henley and the allegations are here, operated a criminal enterprise. He used his status in LA as a gang member, somebody who was known as an enforcer, in order to execute the crimes that are described in the criminal complaint. As part of that, and to get to your question, he also had this charity and held himself out there to be somebody who was committed to reducing gang violence, committed to supporting youth in the city. As part of that, he received grants from government agencies to do that work. And as we describe in the criminal complaint, he used that goodwill to benefit himself. He diverted money from that charity and lined his own pockets with it, and that money was ultimately traced, and that we can show that he used it for personal purposes. So there was an embezzlement angle to this, to the criminal enterprise, where hundreds of thousands of dollars were siphoned off that should have gone to charitable purposes, gang reduction, gang intervention. Instead, he used it for his own purposes, his own criminal enterprise. In addition to that, there was tax loss. And like many of our cases, we ultimately do a financial investigation, and we see that embezzlement and that siphoning happens often. There's a parallel tax conduct that is also described in the complaint. So you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars that the charity ultimately siphoned off for his purposes. It was a charity that he controlled, and again, held himself out there to be somebody in our community who was, as Chief McDonald said, these communities are oftentimes our poorest communities that need intervention the most. They need law enforcement the most. He held himself out as somebody who was part of that team trying to improve South Los Angeles. And the facts in the indictment and the wiretap calls that we intercepted as part of the investigation that are described in the complaint, not the indictment, the complaint, describe that contradiction. That on the one hand he's Mr. Charity, and on the other hand he's engaging in all this criminal conduct. That's set out in the criminal complaint.
And so it's outlined in the criminal complaint specifically what government agency gave him money?
It's outlined. It's outlined that he got grant money. I believe that money flowed through the city of Los Angeles, but I don't have the specifics in front of me. What I can tell you is that typically, grants flow through the state and then eventually, are typically issued through the city.
And to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Did you say the name of the charity? Are you allowed to say that? Maybe
Yeah, the charity I referenced earlier is Developing Options. Developing Options.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Last question.
I apologize. Just your efforts to find Mr. Henley. Have you had? Do you have any idea about his potential whereabouts, or any more that you can tell us on?
No, other than he's a fugitive, and he's being sought by law enforcement. And we're obviously looking for him as we would any fugitive who's engaged in the type of conduct that's alleged here.
Believe to be in Southern California, no idea.
We believe that he may be in Southern California, and for that reason, we're providing his picture and encourage anybody to contact the FBI who knows his whereabouts.
All right, thank you very much. The press release is out. There's a copy of the complaint and affidavit that's attached to the email that it was sent out. If you need it, you know where to reach me.
We do.
If you want to take these photos, you can go up and take photos if you want. Yeah.
There's no digital copies.
I will
Want to play with the feds. You don't want to play with the feds. Big U. Eugene Henley. Wanted. Come on in, folks. This individual has been involved with a lot of things over the years. Los Angeles Times actually put out a great article about him. They say LA Crip leader, he's the leader of the LA Crips, turned gang interventionist, ran a mafia-like enterprise. Mafia. Eugene Big U Henley is a well-known figure in the hip-hop world and has been called rap's godfather by Wiz Khalifa. Wiz Khalifa called him rap's godfather. It's a big, big deal, folks. Federal authorities are now accusing Henley of murdering a young rapper in Las Vegas, among a variety of other crimes. Big U, a Crips leader who helped launch Nipsey Hussle's career and was dubbed rap's godfather, has been accused of murder, kidnapping, robbery, extortion, fraud, the federal authorities just announced. And we just played that press conference. As part of Henley's purported grip on Los Angeles, his alleged victims were required to check in with Henley before arriving in the city in order to obtain protection. According to a 107-page federal complaint. Among those Henley allegedly extorted were professional athletes, unclear who, and musicians, whose business interests were not always legitimate. Federal authorities liken Henley's Big U enterprise to a mafia-like organization that relied on his stature as a long-standing association with the Rolling 60s and other street gangs to intimidate businesses and individuals in Los Angeles. Authorities at Wednesday announced a news conference that he, the man you see right there, wanted. He's wanted. The leader of the Rolling 60s is wanted. A leader of one of the biggest African-American street gangs in Los Angeles is wanted. More than a dozen others are in custody, tied to this criminal enterprise. Henley has maintained the image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur running a music label and as somebody who gives back to the community in Los Angeles. The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar, and a cheat, and the criminals that enabled him. The arrests are part of an effort, the prosecutor said, to make our community safer and rid our streets of these criminal street gangs, including ones operated by violent felons like Mr. Henley, a widely known leader with the Rolling 60s. Yeah. Following a years-long FBI investigation, federal authorities have accused Henley of kidnapping and fatally shooting a young rapper in the face and leaving his body in the Las Vegas desert over perceived disrespect and directing the robbery of an unlicensed marijuana dispensary that had stopped making extortion payments. This guy's crazy. Come on in. We're shaming the criminals. Plus, we're putting him out there. Have you seen this man right here? Have you seen this man? Come on in. Share the video out. He's wanted. One of the most dangerous street criminals out there right now. Federal complaint, soon to be indictment. There could be an indictment. Definitely will be an indictment if there is no indictment with a federal complaint considering RICO. He's charged with the RICO charges. Crazy. Henley also allegedly defrauded companies, donors, athletes, and celebrities, including professional basketball player Draymond Green and former NBA MVP Shaquille O'Neal, aka Shaq. So he defrauded Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors. Draymond Green, you know Draymond Green, and you definitely know who Shaq is. Shaquille O'Neal, one of the most dominant centers of all time in the NBA. Possibly a top 10 player of all time, Shaquille O'Neal. This guy here defrauded Shaquille O'Neal. I'm surprised Shaquille O'Neal didn't put his hands around his neck. I don't know how big this guy is, but this guy kind of has this figure. When I look at this guy right here, it kind of reminds me a little bit about Suge Knight. Kind of has this Suge Knight look to him. All right, so let's continue. He persuaded them to donate to his charities and then later allegedly transferred the money to his own personal bank accounts. So he's stealing from Shaq. He's stealing from Draymond Green. Authorities also accuse him of fraudulently obtaining funding from the Gang Reduction and Youth Development Program overseen by the LA Mayor's Office. Imagine that, Karen Bass. The nonprofit was given $2.3 million from the city from July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2023. Whoa! Folks, Karen Bass's office, the city of Los Angeles, gave this guy money, $2.35 million from 18 to 2023. Now, Karen Bass wasn't around in 18, but she was there in 2023 under the Gang Reduction and Youth Development Program. I guess that program is to encourage youth not to commit crime while this guy's committing crime. A program, right? What about the hypocrisy there? The Gang Reduction Youth Development Program, but then you're a leader of the gang. How does that make sense? He was pretending he was an ex-gang member here to help the youth, all while committing murders, racketeering, extortion, defrauding Draymond Green and Shaq. Yeah, a scammer. Straight scammer. That's crazy. We will continue. We will continue. I lost where I'm at. Okay. The mayor's office did not respond to comment. He previously served 13 years in prison after trying to rob an undercover sheriff's deputy of 33 pounds of cocaine back in 1991. His son is also a linebacker for the Los Angeles Chargers. Henley, his alleged right-hand man, Sylvester Robinson, and a trusted lieutenant, Mark Martin, are accused of violating the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, also known as RICO. Federal authorities have also charged Here we got a bunch of other names too. Tremaine Williams, a.k.a. Lucy Cannon, with robbery. Amari Afleji, a.k.a. Manny, with transporting an individual to engage in prostitution. And Frederick Blanton Jr. and Tiffany Hines with bank fraud. All but Henley, him, are in custody. He's wanted. In an affidavit filed with the criminal complaint, Andrew Russa, a special agent with the FBI, said members and associates of the Big U enterprise used Henley's and the group's history and reputation to control Los Angeles through violence, fear, and intimidation. He, at the same time, tried to attempt to create an air of legitimacy for the Big U enterprise by promoting himself as a reformed gang member focused on bettering his community. He's a scammer. So let's talk about this Las Vegas killing that this guy's involved. If you see this guy, turn him in immediately. If you're out there, Big U, turn yourself in. If you're out there, Big U, turn yourself in. 5 days before his killing in January 2021, Rashawn Williams recorded a diss song. In his affidavit, Russo said he believed Williams' diss song was about him. The diss song about Henley, whose independent record label, Unique Music, was representing the 21-year-old rapper. It's unclear whether Henley had heard the diss lyrics prior to the killing. In the diss song, Williams referred Henley as the bro that makes some money. Williams rapped that he himself might get shot in the face for thinking SHIT is funny. He mentioned a .38 revolver with no trace. A little bit after that diss rap against him, against Henley, Williams, police found his body in a ditch near a landfill on January 25th. He'd been shot in the face with a revolver that left 2 shell casings. Williams is identified only by initials in the complaint, but the Times was able to confirm his name through Las Vegas news reports and social media posts. Unique Music paid to fly Williams from California to Las Vegas in January 2021 and put him up in an Airbnb, according to the complaint. His family say Henley had coached the young rapper in football since he was young. Williams was supposed to spend a week at a recording studio and record a song that day, but he missed those days. When Williams didn't show up for the studio, investigators said Henley and Robinson drove from LA to Las Vegas to confront him. A friend of Williams, identified only as CA, recounted that Henley arrived at the Airbnb 2 a.m., January 24th. Henley was like, why didn't he show up to the studio? CA told the authorities Williams claimed he didn't have a ride. I believe that RW wasting the time, thereby disparaging Henley's name and the Big U enterprise reputation and potentially flouting that disrespect with the lyrics of this song, led to the dispute. Henley arrived at the studio at about 7 o'clock p.m. Williams arrived a couple hours after and recorded until midnight. About 12:30 a.m., Henley left the studio. The dark gray Lexus that he and Robinson had driven to the studio was no longer there. So basically, there's describing what happened here. I don't want to get into really much details, but the point is feds are saying that he shot and killed and worked with others. He might not necessarily be the trigger man, but DNA was found linking him to this crime. Original gangster. Henley is also an admitted member of the original gangster, or OG, of the Rolling 60s, and someone widely regarded as a leader within the gang. He's a gang leader. In Hip Hop Uncovered, a 6-part documentary series for which Henley was an executive producer, he described himself as a Rolling 60s member from the first generation. The series billed itself as examining the power brokers who operate from the shadows of hip-hop. When he was younger, he robbed cars as a juvenile and moved to Chicago after getting kicked out of California. When he returned to LA in the 1980s, he said he earned his reputation by beating people up in a parking lot of the World on Wheels mid-city skating rink. Throughout the 80s, the FBI or the agent wrote, Henley fostered a fierce and earned reputation for violence. Henley said he made money selling drugs, but decided to stop after reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. Yeah, that really made him straight, right? I was ready to do something different, he said. He later started managing the career of hip-hop artist Corrupt. You ever hear that hip-hop artist Corrupt? Corrupt? Then in 1991, Henley was arrested in a sting operation after he and a friend tried to rob someone they mistakenly thought was a drug dealer. He served 13 years in prison and was released in 2004. Soon after, Henley formed Developing Options, a nonprofit involved in gang intervention that also provided unprivileged children a safe outlet in sports. It's all up front. Corrupt took Henley to Death Row Records to meet Suge Knight. In the docuseries, Henley said Knight helped him financially and put me in a position to win. He met Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle, an up-and-coming rapper and member of the Rolling 60s who lived with Henley's family and recorded some of his first diss tracks in their first downstairs studio, according to a 2023 article. In the docuseries, Wiz Khalifa said he doesn't know anyone that actually touched as many superstars as Henley has. If I was to describe Big U's role in rap, he would definitely be the Godfather. He's the only guy who does move how he moves. In 2022, FBI said they interviewed a cooperating witness known as CW1, who claimed that rap artists, athletes, and other visitors needed to pay Henley a fee when they came to the city. Seems like this guy replaced Suge Knight. Right? CW told authorities about a large buy-in dice game in June of 2019. The game involved a professional boxer identified only as AB. Who's the professional boxer, AB? AB, I can't think. AB. Who's the boxer, AB? AB's associates and several prominent NBA players, according to the CW witness, AB and his associates fixed the game, cheating the NBA players out of millions of dollars using teased dice. Teased dice. How do you tease dice? How do you tease dice? Does anyone know how to tease dice? Adrian Bronner. Nice. Thank you. So he was in fixing. Thank you. Thank you for that. Adrian Bronner. Thank you. Adrian Bronner. Thank you. Interesting. Boxer. Teased dice. Teased dice. Suge Knight. I'm learning a whole new world and a whole new culture while I'm reading this, by the way. I'm not into this kind of stuff. After that game, the FBI said Henley directed associates to rough up AB, who had not checked in with Henley, and get the money back from him on behalf of the cheated NBA players. Multiple members of the Rolling 60s allegedly arrived and were used to press AB. Henley stepped in because he was involved in and or would approve of any dice games or similar events such as parties involving large sums of money and prominent NBA players and celebrities. According to the complaint, CW knew of other times in which NBA players or celebrities would need to get approval in advance from Henley to ensure their safety at events such as party games or advertising shoots. CW1 said the celebrities would have to pay Henley for protection and approval or face retaliation from the Big U enterprise. In a monitored meeting between Henley and someone identified only as Victim 1, Henley recounted that he got into a fight with AB, and AB cheated a current NBA All-Star out of $1.5 million and a former NBA All-Star out of $5 million. Henley also talked about charging the players $100,000 to get their money back. In a podcast Henley hosted called Checking In, CHECKIN', CHECCIN. He said every city he goes to, I check in with somebody. But he denied charging fees for those coming to LA. So is that the culture? You got to check in with people before you go to cities? Is that how it works in this culture? Alleged fraud. Authorities also accused Henley of fraudulently obtaining funding from the LA mayor's office through the Gang Reduction Youth Development Program. Since 2015, Henley's nonprofit, Developing Options, has received $500,000 annually as part of the program. The nonprofit was given $2.3 million from the city from 2018 to 2023. And of that, Henley has drawn hundreds of thousands of dollars from a salary. According to the complaint, the program has an extensive mandatory handbook that is appended to each contract and the Developing Options must comply with. Among the other requirements are extensive criminal background checks, compliance, training, approval of employees, attendance at meeting, logging activity, and cooperating with law enforcement. Based on my review of documents, Developing Options appear to fail to comply with all of them, all of the requirements. Henley stole COVID money, the federal pandemic relief programs, right? COVID money, got money from the federal government. He's a fraudster. Draymond Green kindly gave him $20,000 to the development under the guise it would help, but instead, Henley embezzled the entire donation, transferring the funds to his personal account. Shaquille O'Neal did the same thing, $20,000. And he transferred all that money to his own personal bank account. This is crazy, folks. This is crazy. Now he's wanted. So, stealing from NBA players, stealing from the city of Los Angeles under this. Here you go. Here's the boxer. Here's the boxer. Bronner. Apparently took $1.5 million out of NBA players from fixed dice games. And Big U wanted him to get jumped for not checking in with him. And it also states that Big U was charging $100,000 for protection and NBA players checking in. So much to dissect through. Stole COVID money, murdered a rapper in Las Vegas, check-in money, fixed dice games, frauds, schemes, gang leader, rolling 60s Crips. Anyone that comes into Los Angeles in that world would have to check in with this guy or his group of misfits. Now, he's been featured a couple years ago. He's been featured. After nearly 40,000 worth of toys stolen in South Los Angeles, community comes together to save the day. Let's listen to this report right here. It's a couple years back. Check it out. Scammer. Straight scammer.
More than $30,000 worth of toys were stolen.
Yeah, KCAL News reporter Lori Perez is in South LA tonight, where a U-Haul carrying the gifts went missing.
We always like stories with happy endings, and thankfully this one has one. We were in the middle of doing an interview about the stolen U-Haul when trucks with new toys started showing up.
Merry Christmas!
Some of Santa's South LA helpers handed out early presents.
I got a Ninja Turtle set and I got a Spider-Man set.
Lighting up eyes and warming hearts on this cold night in Crenshaw.
Yeah, I chose it and I really like it, so now I'm going to play with it when I get home.
But it was a gift giveaway that almost didn't happen. This is security video showing the moment early this morning when Eugene Henley says someone stole a U-Haul parked in front of his Windsor Park home. It was filled with toys worth nearly $40,000. All of it paid for by the Henley family, their son, Chargers linebacker Daiyan Henley, the team, and private donations.
To think that somebody was stealing a bunch of toys, stealing Christmas, that's kind of crazy.
In an instant, a 20-year tradition of handing out presents to Crenshaw kids almost came to an end for the Henleys and their nonprofit youth empowerment group called Developing Options, until right as he was telling us about the theft, trucks of toys started arriving.
Damn near Christmas miracle. You know what I'm saying? Here in South Central.
Word had spread and donations to buy new toys added up. City workers and the local councilman's office helped organize things, and the LA County Fire Department, which runs its own toy drive, pitched in load after load.
This is a great save. This is a great save by the community because we didn't have no toys. And I'm just so happy.
And with that, as Daiyan Henley and others put it, Christmas was saved.
At one point, there was a lack of hope, but you got certain people in this community that won't go for it. And I think that just shows the strength within, and that's what you got right now, a community that rallied back and made it happen.
They do still want to find the person who stole their U-Haul filled with those toys, and they are begging that person or anyone who knows anything about it to come forward and do the right thing in the spirit of Christmas. In Los Angeles, I'm Lori Perez, KCAL News.
So, hey, that probably was all from stolen money. One of those types. Well, you know, I give back to the community, so I'm just a great guy. One of those good guys, right? I don't think so. Eugene David Henley, Jr., 58 years old, born in 1966. And he has numerous places he frequents. I'm sure the feds will be going around to different addresses like Bay Street in Santa Monica, California, 118th Street in Los Angeles, Arlington Avenue in Los Angeles, 103rd Street in Los Angeles. I'm sure they're looking around for him. Now, again, he went to prison, got in trouble. He went to prison for criminal conspiracy, drugs. He's a dangerous criminal, a gangster. I'm going down his report. I got a report here in front of me. And then he tries to run an ex-offender, a fellowship network, and a bunch of other music businesses like Slauson Boys Entertainment, LLC, Unique Music, UNEEK Music, Unique. U.S. Production, Slauson Boys, Unique Vision, the Ex-Offender Fellowship Network. What a scammer. He's also filed a bunch of bankruptcies. Imagine that. These scammers, they steal and defraud, and then they file for bankruptcy to avoid liability. Yeah, we're sharing his mugshot out there. We're helping the feds. I'm helping the feds. Look at this. Big announcement. We kind of read this down through. They're involved in a lot of stuff. The Rollin 60s. Drug trafficking, racketeering, firearms offenses. Mafia-like organization. Mafia. Mafia-type organization. Have you seen this guy? We did our part today. We got a clip. I'm going to play this right here. Check it out right here. Tells a little bit about him.
From the rec rooms of the Bronx to the streets of Crenshaw, for 50 years now, hip-hop has been a culture that centers community. Chargers linebacker Daiyan Henley learned this firsthand from his father, Eugene "Big U" Henley. With help from Suge Knight, the controversial founder of the legendary Death Row Records, Big U became an iconic figure in West Coast hip-hop. And true to hip-hop's tradition, he leveraged his fame to uplift his Crenshaw community.
My version of Big U is Coach U. My dad being like one of the most well-connected men in LA, music has been a part of that. Being a music manager, producer of so many different talents, that has played a huge part in my life.
Right again, let's go.
Coach U's first priority is to make someone that the world can be proud of from our community. He was the gang member, the product of the streets from Crenshaw. He had made a couple mistakes, wrong moves, and it led to him being incarcerated.
After doing 12 years and 9 months, I was released January 4, 2004 from California State Prison. I didn't want Big U to be known as a tyrant. I wanted to be known as somebody who helped change our community for the better. I had made a lot of promises to my comrades who were still incarcerated to be able to do good, to do right, staying true and not falling back to the degradation that we were part of before we went to prison. My nonprofit, Developing Options, was birthed from that. We address parenting, helping men who are coming home from prison, being able to get back with their family, because I know that struggle. We end up getting into a football program.
I jumped right into the game at the ages of 5, right when my dad got out. Growing up, I was a part of the SYFL, that being this new youth football league. The Crenshaw Cougars played a major role in my development, and Coach Snoop has, been a part of my football journey since the very start.
I remember when y'all went to the Super Bowl, I just watched him grow into the fine young man that he is, man. You and your wife did an amazing job with him, man.
I remember my dad taking me to my first practice, him being my first football coach. Football is the base fundamental and the deepest connection with me and my dad.
He loves me. He always be there when I need help.
It's the first thing we had together to share. Just trying to see, that used to be me right there. Number 2, though. Who blocking me? Let's see it.
Go.
When I came home in 2004, Corrupt, who I had already signed years ago, embraced me, come on, it's like my little brother. And Suge Knight comes on 4 months later. So Suge is my teacher who I'm learning everything from. I went into my neighborhood and I started looking for artists, and I eventually found Nipsey Hussle. I would do Developing Options in the morning, afternoon football, and then at night it was music. It was me merging the world. That's where Daiyan and Nipsey relationship had formed.
Nipsey was so close to the family. To see who he became was major inspiration. It's great because he inspired me along with a mass majority of the people coming out of my district. I wish he was here. I know I'm making him proud because we've had a talk where he said, "You're gonna make it. I'm gonna make it."
Welcome to the 2023 NFL Draft.
The draft starts. Nerve-wracking day in my mind. I'm like, what happens if I don't get drafted today? Everyone's there, sitting on that couch, and round 3 starts. I'm looking at people fly off the board, and then I get the phone call.
How's it going? You got Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Derwin James, and a bunch of guys that are going to be excited to join up with you, man.
You're going to get the best of me, Coach.
Hey, congratulations. All right, bud. Talk to you soon.
I'm a Charger.
Daiyan Henley, linebacker.
The way everybody screamed, it was pretty much like the Crenshaw district got drafted. It's so beautiful because I focus more on community. We want to give kids options because I didn't have options. He gets to play the game and help change the community at the same time and have fun.
I'm living my dream in my hometown.
Set, go.
I love my community so much. I want to be in my community. I want to be a product of my community. My dad has done a great job. It's been big for the family and for developing options.
Just goes to show you that a hip-hop legend and pro athletes can not only uplift their community, but inspire the youth. Well done to both of you.
That didn't age well. That didn't age well. Now he's a wanted fugitive. That didn't age well. A killer football coach. See how they were championing him around like he's a good guy, football coach. But all behind the scenes, he's doing crazy stuff like killing other rival rappers, extorting people for payments, protection payments, scamming NBA players like Draymond Green and Shaq, and a bunch of other things too. And he's the leader of the Rollin 60s Crips. Huh. Oh, and stealing COVID money too. Yeah, he didn't learn his lesson. The hypocrisy is so crazy. Oh, and then stealing money also from the city of Los Angeles. Got another news clip about this guy right here, this creep on the streets. Let's share it. We'll listen in, see what they have to say.
Raid took place in just the past 24 hours, and the charges range from racketeering to murder.
Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes is live in downtown L.A. Joins us now with some of the details. Rob.
Yeah, it sounds like the Crips have been crimped. The FBI announcing that they made a sweeping bust of the Rolling 60s Crips gang, but are still looking for its longtime leader. Now, here's some Air 7 video from earlier this morning showing some of the alleged gang members being processed in tents at the FBI's Los Angeles office. Search warrants executed at 6 different locations today. Hundreds of agents and officers arresting 10 people. In all, 19 have been indicted. 4 were already in custody, so at least 5 more arrests are expected. But the search is on for the man they say has been heading up the local Crips gang for decades, Eugene Henley Jr. Investigators say he's been painting himself as an entertainment executive who's been giving back to the community with various charities. But they say in reality, he's a violent criminal, the leader of the Crips with a long list of crimes on his resume.
The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar, and a cheat, and the criminals that enabled him. For example, Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway.
Now, here's one more look at Henley. Again, he's on the loose. If you know where he is, you are urged to call the FBI. Now, prosecutors say right now Henley is charged with racketeering conspiracy, which carries a 20-year prison sentence, but that other charges may follow. Reporting live in downtown L.A., Rob Hayes, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Yeah. Eugene. Big U Henley, 58, wanted. We did our part today, sharing and exposing this guy, and we'll do a follow-up when he gets caught. He will be caught. Maybe he's getting his lawyer to arrange to turn himself in. He's going to be spending the rest of his life in federal prison. The downfall, the lies of this guy. People in the chat wondering if Diddy snitched. Did Diddy snitch? Did Diddy snitch on him? Yeah, we're going to keep his photo out here for a second. I ain't afraid of him. I ain't afraid of showing his photo. You're not going to beat the feds. I'm reading the comments. I saw this pop up and I'm like, hey, well, at least this is not necessarily our niche, right? We don't really talk about hip hop and the urban culture and this type of talk. So this is a little different for us. But here we are. Here we are. So at least we use this platform and maybe eyeballs can see this guy. And then if you see this guy, pick up your phone. 911. Hey, I see Big U. Big U's here at the liquor shop or wherever, liquor store. Big U. I don't know. He doesn't have hair on his head. How is he going to change disguise? He's going to grow his facial hair out, wear a hat, grow some hair. Is he in Mexico? Did he leave the country? I mean, apparently this guy got money, right? He got some money. Got to be living somewhere. Got to be hunkered down somewhere. Yeah, you can run, but you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. You can't hide forever. Feds will catch up to you. Question is he the top of the totem pole? And if he's at the top of the totem pole, can he really tell on others? Will they even want to make a deal out of him? Stevie B said, JLR, people can't stand this junk. I get it. I get it. I say lock all the criminals up. I get it. Or they're saying this is hood stuff. We do cover true crime, so it is true crime. I think it's interesting that the feds got that group up there, that transnational group up there in Massachusetts that got indicted. Got a RICO. RICO's been, you got a motorcycle gang. They've been indicted. Seems like the RICO statute lately has been thrown around. You got the RICO, you got the motorcycle gang in Texas. You got this group. You got the human smugglers from California that smuggled in 20,000 Guatemalans. And you got a RICO case up in the Northeast dealing with that transnational gang that originated from prisons. Not Tren de Aragua, the other one. If someone could drop the name in the chat, there's so many of them. This is like the fourth RICO case that they brought up in just about a month. So I think the RICO cases are going to be brought up even more. Now, it wasn't MS-13. It's it started with a T, I think. I forget that group. Someone knows in the chat. Someone knows who I'm talking about in the chat. They got indicted in the Northeast, a group of them. They're running around shooting all over the place in the Northeast. Yes. Trinitarios. Thank you, Oscar. Oscar named them. Yes. We talked about them. So that's the fourth indictment, RICO. I expect more. It's going to be a statute that we're going to learn more about and see more indictments. It's usually reserved for mobsters, bike gangs, RICO. All right, folks, I'm signing off. JLR Investigates. Thanks for watching this particular segment. If you see something, say something. This guy's a bad dude. He'll be caught. He'll probably be caught by tomorrow. I'll make a video. How about that? When he's caught, I'll make a video. You guys be safe. On to the next one. We out the criminals, shame them, put them out there. And we'll continue to do so. Whatever else is breaking. Nothing was really breaking at the time. I still got to talk about the Tesla terrorists. Maybe we'll do that later on tonight or tomorrow. There's a bunch of people that are doing some crazy stuff with Teslas. We'll out all them. There's a lot of wackadoodles out here. Today's Wackadoodle Wednesday. Been a long day for us. I had to drink like 5 cups of coffee covering a hostage, or not a hostage, a standoff outside the CIA. Long day. Have a good day, everyone. JLR Investigates. See you later. We'll talk soon.